Parental Unplugged.
Well, it starts in the home. You know,
Yeah.
the father's not in the home. The boy will
Yeah.
find the father in the streets.
Parental Unplugged, I'm looking for love. We come from them broken homes. Single mama, no father involved. We need more fathers involved. I don't need applause for shit that I do. The shit that I do don't need your approval. The family, my crew. I die for the family. I run up the bag. These kids will come through. Parental Unplugged.
All right. You here live in the B Cave tonight. We're here, Parental Unplugged podcast, and I'm your host, B How. You know why we're here. Let's chop it up. Before I get started with my guest today, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Clarity Water, one of the most refreshing, high quality alkaline waters with a 9.5 pH level. Also, Backstock Resale. We stock it, won't break your pockets. And lastly, my wonderful production crew that helps put my podcast together, Seven Nation Films. So with that, I want to introduce my guest. He's a chef, he's a poet, he's a author, he's a mentor, influencer. He's also a father/grandfather, the General, and Jones.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good.
That's what's up. So, for the people that don't know who you are and what you do and where you from, give a quick introduction about yourself, if you don't mind.
I'm a man of many hats.
Okay.
I can say a lot of them not important to me, but a lot of people seem to think they are, so I wear that. It's a badge of honor. From New York originally, born in New York, raised in Cleveland.
What part of Cleveland?
I represent all of Cleveland. I just leave it there. 216. You see it.
I see. All right. Okay.
I dabble in everything. I like to say that I'm like a prophet/activist.
Okay.
I think it was a calling for me to just be around to help people do stuff. So
Yeah, I can say that. You do. You done helped me a lot since I've been up here. So the concept and the structure of Parental Unplugged podcast is basically to give some insight and light, on how fathers parenting and how they raise their children. And so that's the concept. And, that's why I brought you on here, because I know you a guru with co-parenting. I would love for you to touch base on that. And also, the struggles and the ups and downs that you went through, raising, because you have two daughters, correct?
Right.
And they're fully grown now.
Yes.
And now you got a grandbaby, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So just give some insight on that. Like, who's your role model or parent in your life that, that gave you some insight on what it looks like to be a parent, a father, a dad?
I got a few, but I could say my first initial thing that got me going and really looking at it was actually my daughter's mother,
Oh,
her
wow.
family. So that was like one of the first families that I met that the mother and father was in the house still.
Mhm.
They ate dinner together. It was from where I'm from, it was like a culture shock.
Right.
And that like immediately like clicked and made me start thinking and got my wheels going.
Now, was this before y'all had children?
Before.
Okay.
Before.
So when did you find out that you were becoming a parent, a dad? Where was you at? What you had going on?
It's actually a crazy story.
Let's hear it. This is what it's about.
So first of all, the crazy thing is when we met, one of the things was, don't get pregnant because
Exactly.
she was getting ready to go to college. So it was like, don't mess that up. She got to finish school.
Right.
And guess what happened? And we literally hid the pregnancy like almost the whole 9 months.
Wow. How old were you at that time, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm going to say 27, probably 28.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It was so long ago, but, unfortunately it wasn't, a planned pregnancy, but very welcome. I honestly couldn't, especially at this point, imagine to be with somebody else,
Mhm.
great mother. But we weren't prepared for it, obviously, and we like was on the fly, you know. And like I was saying earlier, the good thing was, in my mind, I was picturing her family.
Right.
You know?
And that's what you kind of mimicked and was trying to look for with your family.
And that was like my thing. I don't, you know, besides the fact that I didn't have a 2-parent household, which I did, but it wasn't, I guess you could say, functional. You know, it wasn't my father there. You know, it was my mom and whatever boyfriend she had at the time. So, and can't knock them, you know, great guys, you know.
Right.
But I wasn't home. You know, I was gone, you know, from home at an early age. I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, but neither here or there. I wasn't, you know, blind to the fact that I had to take care of my responsibilities, and I hate to say that I was a bad kid, because I wasn't bad at all, but I was just doing things.
You was busy.
That I shouldn't have been doing, but I always in my mind knew the right from wrong. So, and that kind of like speared me into going in the right direction, especially when we found out she was pregnant. So I never had a job up until that point.
Wow.
And well, I mean, I guess people know. If you know me, you know I was a pharmaceutical person, you know.
Hey, tell it. I mean, this is why it's called Parental Unplugged.
Yep. And,
So
when I found out, I never forget, I told my cousin KP, my friend Lauren, it was a few of them, and I like told them I was gonna quit. You know, I was like, I'm over. And normally, you know, there'd be some joking about it or backlash. You know, oh yeah, right. You know, and for whatever reason, nobody second guessed me. Nobody peer pressured me.
Right.
It's like, you serious? I'm like, yeah. And that was my last day doing it. And I went. This how tell you my age. It was a place called Circuit City.
Yeah, they ain't been around for a while.
Right. I went to Circuit City one day to get sounds put in my car. And
yep, they did that.
Yeah, and I was there, had my little Lexus, and I'm sitting there at the front counter flirting with the girls while they installing my stereo. And then, you know, they like, my boss coming, you know, act like you fill out an application. I filled out the application, and I swear, I put all my information was from this song Michael Jackson, the Jacksons made, called 2300 Jackson Street. I put that as my address, everything. Only thing I put right on that application was my phone number.
Right.
And this was on a Friday. Needless to say, by Monday I was working. So that was my first job I ever had.
How long did you work there?
For 9 years.
Get out of here.
Yep.
9 years.
Top salesman and everything. But it was so funny because, ironically, I used the same concept as selling, you know.
Yeah.
I had my product.
Yep.
The customers was fiends.
Yeah.
they was coming on the block, and I was serving them, you know.
I hear it,
and
yeah.
I literally used that mentality. Like, once I was doing marketing, I lied and said I was a marketing person. Hired me as that.
Right.
And sales. And that would be my pitch to, like, if I saw somebody else, you know, my age, and they was coming from that same environment, that's how I presented it to them.
Wow.
And
man, that's a story in itself. That's why I know that when you come out with your book, it's gonna be ridiculous. You know, with your cooking book and everything else. Going further, what was the challenges you could say that you had, or was there challenges? And with you have daughters, so that's like, even I got all boys. I'm already not one of them out. But the fact of having daughters and raising daughters, you know, in this world and generation we live in, you know, was there any challenges?
Yes. So, you know, it's funny now, because now that I look, like, it's hard for me to even think about the challenges, because he had 2 good girls, like, you know, once again, because of the structure, you know, we was, you know, they mom was on them, I was on them. It was sort of like the good cop, bad cop thing.
Right.
I would like to think that I was probably the one that they confided in the most. Like,
so you was the good cop.
Right. And you know what? I wouldn't even say, because our personalities, like, I'm a very calm person. I don't get flustered. I don't jump to conclusions. I don't, you know, burst out in anger. So I'm more calm, and I like really take stuff in and think before I react. You know, their mom is more of a, you know, she off. You know, not in a bad way, but, you know, a lot. I'm the one like her. That was her biggest thing with me. You're so nonchalant. Like you. I've been through so much stuff. It was really nothing that really bothered me. I always look at it as gonna get better. That's how I always look at it.
Do you think your childhood, the way you grew up or were raised, impact the way that you parents, your children?
Yes, but in the way of knowing what not to do. So, like I had so many, So first I can say this. So now that I'm grown, or not now, but as I got older, I realized that my life, how I was raised, wasn't too, good. But
Right.
we didn't know that. Like my mom, was in a drug. She was a prostitute. She was, but we never felt like, we was missing something. Like
Exactly.
it wasn't the thing. So like when I grew up in New York, I'm there with my family in New York, and they were rich. So it was like culture shock coming to Cleveland, and now I'm, with my mom and them is like we in the hood now.
Right,
so,
right.
But we never like was raised to feel less than any other kid who had it.
Gotcha.
We had it. Our family was tight at one point, but it's just weird. Like so, it raised me, but like I knew what to do, what I wanted to do when I got older. Like that was something I always thought about. If I ever had kids, I'm not gonna do this. I knew who to use as my role model, who to image myself after. So.
All right. Now I want to touch base on your co-parenting, because I know somewhere down the line, something had to occur where you and the mom wasn't together anymore. Now you had to basically raise the children from a separate household. So how did that come into play, and was it something that was, I won't say planned, but something that happened organically, or was it just something like, hey, we talked about it, let's do it this way,
Both, I guess you could say. So, we had our issues. Of course, it wasn't perfect, but we never like was enemies, I guess you could say. And it just came to a point where we knew that we had to split up, because it wasn't going to work out. Like we literally were in the same house, and I was in one room, she was in another room. But it was like probably like most people go through, as long as we could. And then once it came to a point where we had to, decided like we got to go our separate ways, it was, I guess you could say, the turmoil or the issues was gone at that point. It was more so, now how do we tell the girls?
Right.
And
How did they take it?
so that's another crazy thing. So I think we were more scared and nervous than they was. Because once we told them, we told them, and it wasn't a big thing. They didn't. Not to say that they probably didn't do it later or when we weren't around, but at that initial time, it was more like, so that means we're gonna have 2 bedrooms, 2 houses.
They looked at it, and they looked at it in a like a positive aspect for them. Like, oh, we getting all this.
Their mom, made sure, and our thing was to never let them see that part. Any bad negativity. Like if one of them came to me and said, Dad, blah, blah, don't tell Mom. I still told her, but she had to know, don't go back and tell them that I told you. If there's something you don't like, suck it up. Right. You got to hold it in until they feel they got to tell you, and vice versa.
Right.
I always tell people who like go into the situation of, having a co-parent or, leave, is like rules. And that's like how we came up with the concept of our book. We're doing a book called The 10 Co-Parenting Commandments. And
y'all doing a book together? I'm glad you're talking about it. I thought it was just you. Go ahead, keep going, brother.
And it's basically like the rules. What you don't do. Don't question her about she got a boyfriend. It's not my job to say.
Right.
Ask my daughters. So what he doing? And vice versa. And we don't. Another thing, we don't gossip. Like that was like, I think. When people ask me, like a lot of people always ask, how do y'all get along so well? I think that's the one thing we never did that I think everybody else do that mess up. They get too many people in their business. We never, not your best friend, not your brother, not your nobody. We keep our stuff to ourselves, and we deal with it ourselves, and we don't let people see it. Like it was it was to the point where my family members didn't think they wanted to know what happened. Something happened, you know,
Right.
because it was so quiet and hushed. They just wanted to get some juice out of it.
Exactly.
And, you know, it took them a long time to realize that it is what it is. That we just, you know. So, like, I never had the drama, you know, to want to fight girls. And, you know, the guy that she ended up with, me and him, real cool.
Right,
like,
right.
we still talk to this day. You know, she met my girlfriend ended up doing her eyebrows. You know, like, it was, you know, that's how tight we had it. And
That's what's up, man. That's deep, man.
It wasn't no controversy, but we did still have our own issues, but we knew to keep it behind doors.
Keep it behind doors. So what kind of advice can you follow up and give? I know you touched a little bit on it in reference to anybody out there, fathers that's dealing with that they in that part of their life where it's not going to work out. And now we got a co-parent, ones that are co-parenting. How do they maintain and keep that healthy relationship with parents?
You know what? I always say it's a unique situation for each person. And I think it's basically how you built, you know, how your mentality is, where you at, your beliefs, you know. So I tend to not like to give like a direct advice, I guess you could say. I give a general, right? Because I know you don't know. Like, I don't, like, you know, I got a friend, Paul, and, you know, he went through it, you know, and I would always, he'd come to me and we'd talk, you know.
Right.
And his situation was, and I could remember me always saying, Paul, stay with your girl, you know, stay with your girl. And then one day it just really hit me. I'm like, what if he ain't happy? You know,
Exactly.
You know, so then that's when I got off of that and was like, me seeing him, 2-parent household, beautiful daughters. So in my mind, that's it, you know, but it don't always work out that way. So I always say the advice I give everybody, my one thing is think with your brain, not your heart.
Right, right.
You know, don't stick around because you think it's the right thing to do, because that's gonna hurt, you know, potentially hurt more people, you know, in the end. Think with your brain. So no matter how gangster you is, how soft you is, you know right from wrong.
Exactly.
And you know when it's time to go, you know, so that's what I always say. Think with your brain, not your heart. That's my only advice, because we don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Right, exactly.
There's two sides to every story. He could tell me his version, but I'm sure his girl got a version.
Yeah.
That we, you know, so you never know. And I don't like to pick sides. And I think it's crazy for, like, I don't ask people my personal, but it should be in nobody else's business. And that's another key to me and my kids' mother's success.
Right, right.
That we never get nobody involved. We work it out because don't nobody know but you.
Exactly. So now, since your daughters are how old now?
In their 20s.
So I don't want to tell your age. I don't want to tell your age. But so now one of your daughters, out of which one has the
youngest one?
The youngest one has
granddaughter.
No. She has a daughter now that makes you a what?
Granddad.
Yeah. So how?
Paw Jones.
So how is that now from the transitioning from being, you know, raising your daughter to now you helping raise your granddaughter? Like how is that compared to, you know, your daughters and now being the fact that you're a granddad?
I mean, it's different in the sense that I don't have her every day, you know, but I love it. You know, I worked at Lowe's. Forget, it's a lady named Andrea, and she used to always talk about her grandbaby, and it's nothing like it. You're never gonna find another love, and you know, and I was just be like, yeah, okay, yeah. Like, I'm done raising kids, you know. But as soon as the baby came out, I was at the hospital. Immediately knew what she meant. I was like, oh wow, you know. And
do you see yourself? You know how you probably would discipline, or how you would talk to your daughters. Do you feel that you kind of like you a little more softer with her compared to what you was with your daughters in a sense?
Well, it's still
new. Yeah,
so I ain't had a chance to have to. And you know what? I really wasn't. My daughter's mother was the discipline. Really, they didn't try me. They tried her all the time. So this all I had to do. give them the look, you know.
Right.
But I don't know. Like I think, I don't know. The kids. I think I do good with kids, so I don't think it would ever be a problem, they gonna know not to play with me too. You know,
Exactly.
play with your mama, don't play with me.
Exactly. So, I want to follow up with this. When is their book supposed to come out?
Man, so procrastination.
Oh man.
So, I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a set date. I do know I'm gonna put the cookbook out first. I'm doing a cookbook. And
Okay,
then,
when you thinking that?
so
Because I want you to promote. I want to use this platform, Parental Unplugged, to talk about the parenting and whatever recommendation, advice, and then I also want you to market your stuff, promote your stuff, put it out there. Because like I said, you got many hats. You the general for a reason. So whatever it is that you have that you would like to mention and have people tune in to look forward to coming in the future.
well, the cookbook, be my first thing because that's what I'm most active in right now.
Right. And if nobody don't know this, he can throw down. This man can throw down. All seafood though, but he's well rounded.
I cooked chicken for the first time a few weeks ago.
I know
it was good. They said it was good. I didn't get to eat it.
Right.
But I'm gonna say the cookbook first, and so I've missed 2 dates already. But so me and my family about 2 weeks ago, we're gonna start having accountability parties.
Okay.
So at this point, it's on now because they're not gonna keep procrastinating
about it.
and then vice versa. Whatever they got going on, and so my goal is I want to do it on a day where it's something meaningful, like a holiday as a gift. And I do the book.
Gotcha. Definitely, so, I'm gonna need one. We gonna need one here at the house.
I actually was gonna do it, and then I end up coming up with a season.
The season is bomb,
and that stopped me from doing the book.
Oh, my
because
God.
I've been trying to work on this season for like 2 years. And one day, without knowing it, I was happy with that, so I concentrated on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like one thing off my list that I want to do: the 2 books, the seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
The co-parenting book comes second, only because it's gonna do more with me interacting with their mother. We don't see each other that much, even though we talk.
Right.
But it's gonna be a thing like that.
Definitely have to bring you guys back. Have both you guys on the podcast talking about the book, like a copy of it. So.
Yeah, we definitely gonna do a book signing. I mean, that's like when I say that's like one of the biggest questions I get. How do y'all do it? Like
Mm-hmm.
like it seems I almost feel like I'm the only person who never had drama. Like like they see me. And,
it sound like it. I don't know nobody else that's a guru in co-parenting.
She has another son. Will have a son now.
Yeah,
with her. The gentleman now. When they see me and him together and talk, it's like like what.
But you so natural, it's comfortable. You don't have no problem.
It's to that point like he called me,
right.
When, so I had to. One of the biggest things was my daughter's living with another man, so but he made it easier, So I guess like God just blessed the little circle because he was on the same thing.
Sound like it, man.
Like man. So when something go on, like he know, how far the man look. I tapped out. You talk to the girls, man. So
right.
And that's how.
And that's good respect, and that's good. You know what I'm saying? That's good parenting from his side, being as we call it, a step parent. And hey, he's helping. He did his part also, helping raise your daughters within the household. And what you doing it from the outside, man, that's real good. You don't have have that.
Only fault I can say that I ever had with that Steelers fan.
I thought he was about to say something. He spanked them.
He turned my daughters. They was wearing Pittsburgh jerseys.
Oh, man.
I don't know. They don't even know why they got it on.
Know,
but they back now though.
They back.
Yeah, they
well. To me, I'm don't take it the wrong way or any offense, but I don't care too much about either two those teams. So, Cincinnati all day. So nasty. But with that, we gonna close. It was a good talking to you, having you come in, chop it up with me. Being my first podcast episode, and as I always want to lead people, I'm just a father. Just trying to navigate through this world of parenting with one podcast and one episode at a time. Thank you. Tune in.
Peace.
And I'm out.
Yeah. 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 Father's important, blesses his children. I'm speaking the truth, I'm speaking to you. I pray we evolve, I pray we don't fall. I pray we don't fall, I pray we don't fall. Parental Unplugged. Yeah. Fatherless children, they roam in the street. Abandonment issue, know some of us lost. Parental Unplugged. Yeah. Gotta evolve, gotta stay active, gotta stay active, gotta stay active, gotta be active. Parental Unplugged.